Let me paint this picture for you so that you can relate. It's late at night. You're finally done with your workday or whatever you had going on for today. You sit down to relax and you tell yourself, I'm just going to relax and watch one television episode. That's it. And then you grab something small to eat. Then you grab something else to eat a short time later. And the next thing you know, you've already eaten more at night than you did the entire day. I know you can relate. That's happened to you, and it's definitely happened to me. And a lot of the time, it's not even real food that we're eating and snacking on late at night. It's snacks that were built to keep you and I reaching back for more, to get more of what we really don't need. You know what I'm saying? Now, here's the part that messes up your head. You wake up the next morning and you're feeling heavy, tired, and even hungry all over again, with a whole bunch of cravings. So you start to think, you know what, maybe I need to get on a stricter diet because something's just not working. But what if I told you the real issue isn't your willpower at all or your diet program? What if the real issue is your nighttime routine? Today, we're talking all about late night eating, why it matters for prediabetes and type 2 diabetes, and what to do about it without starving yourself. Listen, you don't have to starve yourself to live healthy and to feel great about yourself. So stick around to hear the rest of today's episode. You don't want to miss it. Let's go. Be sure to visit the website at www.beatingdiabetieslifestyle.com for access to free resources and other information that will help you along your journey. If you would like to submit a question or a comment about the show or to learn more about the Beating Diabetes Lifestyle, you can always email me at hello@beatingdiabetieslifestyle.com. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to this podcast. Welcome to the Beating Diabetes Lifestyle podcast with me, your host, Oscar Camejo, helping diabetics make lifestyle changes to reverse type 2 diabetes. If you're a new listener, welcome. And if you've been rocking with me for a while, thank you for supporting this show from wherever you are in the world. I have folks literally listening in Africa, Asia, Europe, and of course here in the United States. So thank you once again, everybody. Now, before we jump in, I want you all to do me a favor. Share this episode with a friend or a family member who needs some practical advice to help them on their health journey. You know, the last episode, we talked about ultra-processed foods. You know, the fake stuff. We talked about why those foods leave you hungry again and again so quickly after you've already eaten. And we talked about how that cycle just keeps your blood sugar just moving in the wrong direction. If you're dealing with type 2 diabetes or prediabetes, I know you have concerns about your blood sugar. So that's why now today, we're staying on course with our nutrition topic, but we're focusing on a habit that usually shows up right after eating those ultra-processed foods. And that's when we eat late at night. Late night eating, it could really throw us off course. Here's why today's episode makes sense right after ultra-processed foods and us discussing that topic last time. A lot of people aren't just eating ultra-processed foods during the day. They're eating late at night, sometimes well into the night when their body should be resting. And you know what? Those foods are designed to keep you and I snacking, even when we're really not hungry. We just want to eat just to be eating sometimes, and we wonder why. So if you've ever told yourself, I don't even know why I'm in the kitchen again, this episode is for you. We've all been there before. How many trips have we made to the kitchen in the last week, in the middle of the night? Now, let's define clearly what I mean by late night eating in real life terms. Snacking after dinner just out of habit, or grazing back and forth to the kitchen from 9 p.m. until you finally decide to go to bed. Now, for some people, it's not even one snack. It's a pattern. It's like the kitchen never closes. Period. The cupboards are always rifled through in the middle of the night. The refrigerator is being swung wide open. And you don't even realize how much you've eaten because you're distracted. You know what? That's mindless eating. And you might remember me mentioning that in the last episode about the effects of mindless eating, just being focused on other things and still getting out of habit of getting something to eat late at night. Again, when we're not even hungry. Now, let me say this, and this is very important. Sometimes you are hungry. You may truly be hungry, but a lot of the time, that late night eating is not out of hunger at all. It's more so out of pattern, out of habit. It's that appetite that you have. It may be stress. It could be boredom. Man, it could even be, you know what? I deserve something good today. You know what? After a long day, I'm just going to eat whatever. I know it's late. I'm just going to eat whatever. And if you don't separate hunger from habit, you'll keep fighting the wrong battle. And unfortunately, a lot of us may be losing the battle because we're eating late at night and we're not realizing how it's affecting our bodies. So we got to really pay attention. Now, let me take a moment to share a personal shift that actually changed the game for me. You know what? Years ago, I made a conscious decision to reduce my television time during the week. I mean, Monday through Friday, I had to cut it down because I realized something about myself. Every time I sat down at night, you know, I was watching the latest episode of my favorite show back then, and I was just eating just out of habit, not even thinking, maybe not even being hungry, just grabbing something to eat just because I was sitting in front of the television. You know, that was wild because it was like I was mindlessly doing it, not even being hungry. It was plain and simple eating without even thinking about it. So you know what? I made a very important decision about television. I actually stopped watching television at night during the week, like period. And I'm telling you right now, that was a game changer life hack for me. Yeah, there may be times on occasion I'll watch television, but that's very rare because once TV was gone from me, that nightly eating routine started to break apart. And I'm glad it did because there's nothing to sit in front of the television and just eating a bunch of popcorn and chips, right? But you know what? I replaced that time with some healthy habits that were healthier for me and left me feeling a lot more productive, whether it's studying, working out, reading, podcasting, of course. And here's the bonus. It helped me to get to bed even earlier, no later than 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock, that's a sweet spot for me. 10:30, the latest. And when I started going to bed earlier, I naturally stopped eating so late. The same could be for you. You don't have as much time to just drift into the kitchen out of boredom. And when you start to get to bed earlier, you naturally stop eating so late. You don't have as much time to drift into the kitchen out of boredom. Now let's bring it back to you. Late night eating matters because your body is supposed to be winding down at night. But when you're eating late, whether it's fried food or whatever you're eating at night, your body is still working to process that food. It's processing that food when it should be recovering and giving you the energy that you need for the next day. And for a lot of people, that affects how they feel the next day. Some people are eating so late and they're just feeling sluggish and tired, and your body just feels overworked. Well, it could be because you're eating late at night. Even if you fall asleep, your sleep quality can take a big hit. And when your sleep quality takes a hit, that's when cravings usually get louder and louder the next day. I mean, sometimes you may be waking up tired and lacking energy. And so you want quick energy. And what do you normally do? You probably pick up something that's quick energy. You know, maybe something that's high in carbs or high in sugar, you know, your coffees and whatnot. And that's how the cycle keeps repeating itself. Not because you're weak, but because your routine is working against you. That's something to consider. Now let's talk about the real reasons why late night eating happens in the first place. One reason could be that you didn't eat enough during the daytime. So by nighttime, your body is trying to play catch up. Another reason is stress. At night, the day finally slows down and food becomes your comfort, hence comfort food, right? Another reason is what I like to call the reward mentality. You had a hard day, so you feel like, man, I earned this treat. I earned this popcorn. I earned whatever it is. And so you treat yourself. And another distraction, like I mentioned before, is TV or scrolling on social media, gaming, working late, or even just sitting up on your phone. And let's not ignore this one. Some people are staying up too late just to be staying up late. I mean, they have a lot of stuff going on in their mind. But you know what? If you stay up late enough, you will eventually get hungry. And you will convince yourself that you are hungry even when you may not be hungry. You know, it's wild. That's why the goal isn't just to stop eating at night. The goal is to fix what's driving the late night eating. So let's talk about some triggers when it comes to eating late at night. It's something that I want you to kind of think through what you're doing on a regular basis. So when those triggers come, it's important to have a battle plan. It's important to have a strategy. So let's get real practical. Here's your late night eating battle plan. It's not complicated and it's definitely not extreme. Now, here's some simple steps that you can repeat and make it a part of your lifestyle. Step number one, set a kitchen is closed time. That's right, closed kitchen. Pick a realistic cutoff time. Maybe let's say 9 o'clock or maybe 8:30 p.m. I know that may be a stretch for some people, but the goal is not perfection. The goal is to reduce how often this happens. Another thing that you may want to do is step two, is build a dinner that actually satisfies you. If dinner doesn't satisfy you, guess what? In the middle of the night, you're going to be craving something. You want to eat more food. It just happens. But a good dinner should give you lean protein, some non-starchy vegetables, and be made up of some healthy fats. And you know what? Depending on your plan and your body, you may want to include a portion of some whole food carbs. But the key is that dinner needs to be satisfying. It needs to feel like a real meal, not a snack. And I know some of you all who may be desperate to lose weight, you're trying to like eat very little and only eat once a day. I get it, but I want you to be wise. So step number three, replace your nighttime routine. If your routine is normally sit on the couch, watch a show, then eat snacks, then your routine is the actual trigger. So you need a new routine. You can replace that TV time with a walk after dinner instead of just sitting down in front of the computer or even on your phone. You can drink some hot tea. You can stretch. You can read. You know what? You can prep for something for tomorrow so you wake up feeling more in control. I know some people who brush their teeth right after dinner so they don't have that taste or that craving for something to eat later on. And if you're like me and need something more productive, you know what? Why don't you work on something that builds your future? Think about all these little life hacks that you can do. Again, brushing the teeth is one thing. Drinking enough water so that you feel satiated. Now, here's step number four. Create a smart emergency option. Now, if you're truly hungry at night, I'm not telling you to suffer through that. No, that's not smart. But what you need is a plan so you don't end up in the pantry, chaotically looking for something to eat 10:30 and 11:30 at night. Have one simple planned option. Something light, a protein forward snack. Because here's the goal. The goal is to stop the random eating. It's not to punish yourself, but that random chaotic eating, that's what gets a lot of us in trouble. So step number five, let's deal with fixing the root issue. And that's what's happening late at night. If your late night eating is happening because you're up too late and you are just mindlessly eating, that's the real battle. Start moving your bedtime earlier by 15 minutes at a time. Cut the screen time down before bed so that you can be prepared mentally to get into bed and wind down. You have to have a wind down routine because better sleep makes for better choices. So let's do a quick self-check. Ask yourself, am I eating late because I'm actually hungry or because I'm tired? You may be hanging out with friends and then you guys are eating out late. Sometimes we have to decide, what? Do I really need to eat as much this late? So when you're asking yourself these questions, you also want to ask, did I eat enough protein today? What time did I even eat dinner? Knowing what emotions that show up at night and what are some triggers, that helps us to really identify what's really going on so that we can make informed decisions about how we need to make adjustments and what adjustments we actually need to make. You know what? This is not for guilt. It's simply for awareness because awareness is progress. So let's recap this in a very simple way. Late night eating is often a routine and not a hunger emergency. It can affect your sleep, your cravings, and how you feel the very next day. And you can change it by building a better evening plan. So part of the evening plan that really helped me was I took inventory of what I had in my house. I realized I had a bunch of cake products. I had cookies. I had chips. I had soda, fruit juices, and some other stuff that, was not helping me in my weight loss journey, especially when I was talking about learning how to, control my blood sugar. I had to clean house, folks. When I say clean house, I literally cleaned house. I went through my refrigerator. I went through the cupboards, the pantry. I went through every place that I had food. And I realized I had a lot of junk food. stuff that was helping me stuff that was not helping me, stuff that was keeping me overweight, keeping me feeling sluggish, things that were counterintuitive and counterproductive to my health journey. So one day I literally threw everything in the trash bag and just dumped everything. I didn't care how much I spent on the food. I mean, in the refrigerator, in the freezer, everywhere. I literally dumped the stuff in the trash, especially those things that I would normally eat late at night. And not only did I dump them in the trash, I took out the trash bag and I dumped the bag in the dumpster outside of my home. I didn't even want this stuff in my home. I had to make a symbolic gesture that I was serious. Now, what about you? If this episode has helped you in any way, I want you to share it with somebody. Talk to them about the lifestyle habits that can help them to improve their life. You never know if by sharing this episode, you can help change someone's life and impact them for the best. Next episode, we're going to talk all about what it means to be sedentary and how not moving enough and being sedentary affects your health. How much you move or don't move may have a bigger impact than you actually realize. So I do want you to aim to improve your movement. And we're going to talk all about that in the next episode. But remember, you don't have to be perfect. I know I shared a lot with you. You just simply have to be consistent. So until next time, stay focused, keep moving, never go back, leap forward, bounce back because you can, my friend. And above all else, trust God. You got this. I believe in you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the Beating Diabetes Lifestyle Podcast with Oscar Camejo. We hope you enjoyed this episode. As a reminder, this podcast is intended for motivational and educational purposes only. It is not a substitute for professional care by a physician or other healthcare professional or qualified fitness instructor. This podcast is provided on the understanding that it does not constitute medical or professional advice or services. If you're looking for help on your journey, seek a qualified medical practitioner. It's important that you utilize someone who is a trained, licensed healthcare professional who can help you on your journey toward good health.